Alright, yesterday I put the blower out in the sun and let it dry out for a while, and an awful lot of water dripped out of the bottom of it. And, I started up and it seemed to be working pretty good. I couldn't get the wheels to slip or anything, so I put it down in my other garage and let it sit overnight and, continue to dry off and drain because it's warm right now. And you can pretty much see there's a lot of water under it. And here I took the belt cover off. And when you look down in there, everything is soaking wet. The belts, the drive clutches, the just everything down in that compartment is soaking wet. From the looks of it, all the water that hits the front of the engine melts, and then it just runs down the front of the engine there and gets around that plastic cover and down in that housing, and gets everything wet, which is something you just can't fix. Also, if you look down there, you see that drive belt in the front there is the little narrow one right there, that single one, and you'll see how that thing's really, the pulley on the bottom slides back when the clutch is out and turns it sideways, so it kind of gets burn spots in it from the side of that pulley up there because it's kind of rubbing on the pulley there. But the belts are, you can see the belts, the blower belts aren't slipping. Everything was adjusted properly when I checked it, which it was when it was put together. So, it's just, everything was right. There's nothing wrong with the adjustments. It's the machine itself that is going to do this no matter what you do. It's funny, and yesterday somebody told me that my old model was a 1962, and that never had one drop of slippage, one problem, or one issue with the drive system on it. They really did, mess something up here. And if you look at this, you can see actually there's that belt to the left there. You can see how it goes cockeyed down to that bottom pulley when it's just, spinning there idle. There it is right there, the misalignment on it. So you do get like spots on it from when it's just slipping and it's not engaged or anything, and there it is. And then the everything pulls back. But if you look down that pulley, you'll see that's all full of water under the belt too. Everything, both of those, the auger pulleys, the drive pulleys, drive discs, the belts there. It looks like they didn't properly channel the water away from the base of this unit, so all it does is it just melts up front there, and everything that hits the front of the engine and the muffler right up there, it's hot, it's going to melt, and it's just going to run down in this area, and most likely it freezes over time. So it looks like it's just a major design flaw that they have here that really I don't think there's any way to fix it without them coming up with some kind of shroud or something to get the water out of here. So this is just looking to show you that those two cables that everybody's talking about, they were both set. When I put it together, they were set, and they're still set the same. Nothing's changed on them. So, there's nothing wrong with them. So a lot of people make just wise-ass comments, and it's amazing just the type of comments you get on these videos. You try to be honest, and people are idiots, a lot of them. So anyhow, I decided to take the bottom off. I flipped it up, took those bolts off. When I flipped it up, I heard something in there rattling. Something bounced around. There's the cover. That was full of like the auger belt pieces, and you can see it's all wet, full of water and stuff down there too. And here's what was rattling there. There was a bolt head that had broken off. I found out that it came right from that bearing on the side there. They really, it was just, must have been over tightened at the factory or something, or, I don't know, but that was broken off. So I decided to, take the wheel off there and see if I could drill it out and fix it, because, it's not worth going to a dealer for something that simple. It'd take me too long to get there and back. So I tried drilling it, started with a center drill, but it was a little bit hard there. So actually I took a cobalt drill. I keep these around for using for my plasma table, because they'll break through a hardened surface like this no problem. And so I was able to get most of the way through, but it wasn't going quite perfectly straight, so I wound up having to take that little housing off there, finished drilling it out, on the table, and then just went back and I took one of those 4-corner easy outs that you drive in there with a hammer, and they dig right into the hole, and then I was able to screw that threaded piece out. A little bit of damage to the aluminum there from where the drill might have tapped it, but it wasn't too bad looking. And luckily the bolts that held the cover on were the exact same size, so I took one of them to replace the damaged one, and got this all put back together. So that was, you know, it wasn't really that bad a job, but apparently it looks like they must have over tightened the bolt, or just, you know, maybe it was a defective bolt, or maybe just from trying to bounce this thing up and down and the force on it trying to use it, it might have just snapped. I don't know, but you know, it's one of those stupid issues you shouldn't have to deal with. So, you know, get the wheel back on, and the wheels are really easy to get on and off this machine. There's just a keyway there, and you just slide them on and get the keyway lined up there, and then there's a little clip that goes on the outside. So then, you know, once you get this wheel on, I'm going to go back and show you what it looks like on the inside of the blower there. Exactly, you know, how wet everything is, and how it doesn't appear to be any way to do anything about this from what I can see. So anybody with this blower, that I've seen other people, there it is, everything's soaking wet yet. So I've seen a lot of other comments about people having similar issues with these blowers. It looks like it's a design fault in the blower that's never going to go away. It's always going to have water dripping down on everything in there. You can see that drive wheel there, that thing's still got the nub in the middle there. There's no wear on it or anything, so all that time it was just wet and slipping, it seems like. So that's, you know, I just want to let everybody know exactly what I was finding. And you can see up in the corner there where the water actually comes dripping down in. There's still a lot of drips and stuff in there, but, you know, everything was just soaked down there. So there's never really ever going to be any way to fix this unless Ariens comes up with something to put underneath that motor, or seals or gaskets or something. But you know, we've got to try to get people together that are having this issue, I think, and start fighting against them just to see if we can get it fixed. Then you know, put the bottom cover back on, and I had to take the wheel off this side because those nuts that they put on there were kind of crummy. The ones they had crimped over the sheet metal housing there, they just didn't line up right and stuff. So, you know, I got it all back together, and I had another screw laying around I found that I just put in, you know, for the cover screw that I stole. And there you can see all the play on the side to side on these wheels. Each side's got at least a 1/4 inch of side play on it, which probably is also part of the handling issues on this machine too. So, you know, that's another issue that may have to be looked at. But anyhow, I had it flipped up in time to just, you know, flip it back down. And one thing I'll warn you is that gas tank cap does not seal good, and gas will drip out all over while you're working on it. So be prepared to clean that up when you're done. I really thought it would have had a better seal on it, but I found out the hard way. So this is, you know, what I found. There's that cover, and between the cover and the engine there is where all the water runs down, and there's from what I can see, there's really no way to fix it unless Ariens, you know, gets involved here. It's funny, I had no idea they had, you know, made this drive system with just like a little plastic wheel in there and stuff like that. I probably would have never bought it if I knew that, but, you know, you find out a lot of things once you start looking under the hood of it. So, you know, this is what I came up with and what I found. So, you know, it doesn't look like it looks like it's going to be a constant problem with this machine. Another thing I had happen too is I had the battery in my truck when we had that cold weather. I found out that it had actually frozen up and died, and I did find though that Costco had a good battery for $92 when everybody else wanted $130 to $150. So you know, that was a good deal. And you know, so here it is, and I just have a couple shots here of what they did the other day. This was a couple days ago. The town comes around after all the storms and stuff, and you can see they've got this big wheeled excavator that they have about a 10-foot plow on, and they just go up and down the road and up and down the road, and they just keep pushing the banks back and the drifts back. I mean, they push them back up, you know, 10, 12, probably 20 feet off the road just to make room for everything. And then they also go back and they clean out all around your mailbox. You can see there my mailbox was completely buried, you know, and the guys just push all the snow back, clean out the drainage ditches, and get ready for the next storm. So that's a good thing about, you know, living in an area where they're prepared for snow. So pretty much, as you can see, the snowblower really is never going to work right. Once the water gets in here, it's going to slip and stuff. So actually, all you idiots commenting I don't know how to use a snowblower, you're wrong. You may want to go somewhere else and watch videos. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.